Do you have to know how to code in order to start an education technology business? Or what if you're female and not as young as some of the tech startup founders you see around you? My guest today didn't know how to code, but she knew she wanted to explore online learning and found a tech startup business. She wanted to equip young learners with the right skills for working in the 21st century, such as communication, decision making, problem solving, and more. And she is much older compared to the young people around her in the startup scene. Hello and welcome to Season 5 of the Womenpreneur Asia podcast, and I'm your host, Krista Good. My mission is to uncover the stories and strategies of Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia to help you as you navigate your own business journey. This episode is brought to you by Redbox Studio. If you want to be kept updated on new episodes, join my email list that you can find on womenpreneurasia.com. Today's episode is with an entrepreneur from Singapore, Nino Mouton, who is the founder of the education tech startup Playbook Plus. She is the ex-editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan Indonesia and content strategist turned education tech warrior who wants to reinvent education for the young people of Indonesia. Nino talks openly about her startup and the mistakes she made in the early days, forcing her to pivot. She used to panic when users found bugs in her app, and she said she wished she stopped hesitating a lot more and started putting her product out to the world quicker. She talks about not knowing how to code, and everyone said she needed to learn, so she took coding classes. Eventually, she realized that she wanted to be a business person, not a programmer. If you find this story interesting, let's get started. Hi, Nino. Welcome to Womenpreneur Asia.
Hi, Krista. Thank you so much for having me here today.
So, Nino, where are you today?
Today, I'm in Singapore at home because initially I was planning to do the recording in my usual co-working space, but unfortunately today they're closed for renovation.
Nino, are you Singaporean or are you not Singaporean? Since you're in Singapore.
I'm not Singaporean. So originally I'm from Indonesia. So actually I was born and I was raised in Indonesia. I'm Japanese, but then I'm a bit fortunate, to have lived to several countries. So I was studying in France, and then back then when I was younger, I did my exchange student when I was in high school in the United States, and then after that I did my master degree in France, and then and today it's been 11 years, coming 11 years that we've been in Singapore, and I love the country so much. It's because it's very close to my original, very close to my hometown. There used to be a direct flight from Singapore to Yogyakarta, my hometown, but now the flight is not open yet due to the pandemic. But hopefully that there'll be, like a direct flight again so that I can go home very easily, like 2 hours and a half flight.
It's good to be living very near your hometown or your home country.
Yes, and what I like Singapore is very safe. It's good to raise families here. So we're very grateful to be in Singapore.
And since you're talking about family, how many children do you have?
I have 2 girls. The first one is 13 years old and the second one is 11 years old.
So now is also a good time to ask you, so Nino, what are you doing in Singapore? And in the sense of what is the business about?
Currently, I'm running a startup called Playbook. It's an education technology startup, so edtech startup. And then this is a new venture for me. So I only started in January 2021. We first launched in January 2021. And the business is it's all about a skill building app. So the application, it's going to let the users to create or strategize the skills that they want to learn. And also on the platform, we also have courses and in the form of micro learnings, and we're focusing on soft skills.
So for the benefit of the person listening right now who may not know what exactly is soft skills, Because I guess a lot of people in the industry probably would know, but what would you define as soft skills?
Soft skills is a whole bunch of skills that it's is not really taught in a formal education, because usually when we go to the formal education like the universities, then you will learn the technical skills based on what you're doing. For example, if you go for the engineering, then you will engineering school, and you will learn a lot of technical skills and also hard skills. And soft skills is actually it's like a skills that we need in our daily life, that it's going to help us to go through many changes and also many problems. One of several of the soft skills that we already know, like for example, like communication. And also, like for example, like decision making, problem solving. Those are among the soft skills that really needed also in the workforce right now. And our platform actually, it's we wanted to emphasize on these trainings of these soft skills only. So if people ask me what kind of trainings that I provide on my platform, I will not provide anything like for example, like a programming skills or programming classes. So we really want to focus on what we call is the soft skills,
and which are probably the skills of the 21st century and beyond.
Yes, because actually that is also the reason why we wanted to start this, because we did a lot of research, and then we found out that the soft skills is becoming really needed in the next century or in the next workforce. We did a lot of readings and we did a lot of research, and then we become more and more interested, and then we become intrigued of what are these skills actually. And then we just realized also that this can be also like an opportunity for us to help the people and then the students to learn in a fun, because a lot of platforms, they already have also these the trainings, but we wanted to also to contribute what we can do for the society and also for the public.
Does Playbook cater only to students or
yes,
younger learners?
Young I would say mid learners maybe, because when we first launched the app, we were thinking about people from 20 to 35 plus. But then we created the materials and everything, the classes. And then when I launched to Indonesian market, we found out that our content or our learnings, it's a lot of youngsters who were interested to learn. And then we found out that our core public would be 21 until 26 years old.
Does it mean that all your courses are in Indonesian language?
Yes, it is, because it's this is also coming from my past mistake, right? Because actually, as being Indonesian, as living in Singapore, when I started my business, I thought that I knew the both market at the same time. My first startup before Playbook was also in education. It was a marketplace for classes, and then I wanted to launch to the both market at the same time. And then, but what I did not realize that it's that. Localization or customization to the local public was very needed. That's why I had a very, very hard time, to juggle between, content in Bahasa and also content in English, because I had to do it at the same time. And then, but I know that when it comes to content or when it comes to classes, we have to know also who are going to learn with us, and so we can cater and also tailor how the content or how the classes is going to be presented. And of course, both Indonesian market and Singapore market, they are not the same. I had to always do for the same topic. I had to do in both languages. To start a business in both languages is so difficult. And then when I started Playbook, and then I thought to myself that I needed to focus on, maybe I needed to focus on one market only, and then for me to be able, to create the trainings, and also to understand the market better at first before going to another country or going to another market, which is usually, especially if the market has a specific language. I would not go to Vietnam right now because I don't speak Vietnam and I don't know the market, for example. So that's why I was focusing on Indonesian market. Then I did the content in Bahasa because most of my public, they would only understand Bahasa. I mean, it's not that they don't understand English, but for them it's easier to learn in Bahasa. And I wanted to cater a larger market. That's why I decided to use the Bahasa Indonesia as a primary language for all my classes.
So it means that right now you're focused primarily on the Indonesian market with
Yes.
Bahasa Indonesia.
Yes, that's correct.
Let's backtrack a little bit because I know you have another story to tell before even Playbook came about, right? So that is actually an interesting story to tell. So when was the first time you stepped into the world of business? You maybe have to rewind.
Yes, I know. It's I think it's when I left the startup company in Singapore. My short stint in that company gave me a lot of idea about getting myself into the entrepreneurship, and then it was maybe I think 2014, something like that. Yeah, so because during 2013, actually, I was thinking about, getting into entrepreneurship. And then I had a lot of ideas, and then I could not decide which one because I was interested in fashion business also because with my background, my other background. And then I was, I saw clothes, and then I was just thinking about, whoa, it's so interesting and everything, right? But then I had to decide. It took me like maybe a year after that to decide that I did not want to do fashion, and then I wanted to do education.
When you were talking about fashion, then it also means that we have to go even back, way back before that. Because I do know that you have a fashion background. So tell us a bit about that fashion background of yours.
I started my career in a magazine. It was in end of or maybe early 2000 when I come back from my doing my master degree in France. I decided to come back to Jakarta, and then I was my first job was working in an advertising agency, and I enjoyed it also very much since I really like writing. I like doing the contents and everything. And that when I was in the advertising agency, actually I did not do I did not work in the creative department, but I was an account manager. So in doing the account and sales and everything. And then but I was interested to apply for to work as a writer, because I always like to write and everything. So I applied for a magazine, a job of a magazine, and I got accepted. So I left the advertising agency, and then I started working in a magazine. So it was a fashion magazine. That's why I started to get interested into fashion and everything. Although that formally I never had a training in fashion, and I'm not that creative, but it's just like because of my environment, it was a fashion magazine. And a woman's magazine actually, and it's called Cosmopolitan. I was in an environment where it's about fashion and lifestyle and everything. I enjoyed it very much, but then I had to leave the company because I relocated in Paris, but I did not work in fashion in Paris, which is a pity. But I was working as a communication manager, as a PR in several companies in Paris. Yeah, until then, it was the end of a non-digital era where everybody's like starting to do digital and everything. And then I was interested into going into digital. This is a very long journey.
But it's also very interesting one, right? Because like we mentioned, it's like pre-internet. And then now you're in the internet era and you're
Yeah.
doing your startup at
Yes.
tech business.
I was so scared when I know that I was interested into digital, right? But I was so scared because I did not know how to start. I was just, like everybody saying that, oh, when you're in a digital business, then you have to know how to, you have to know how to code. You have to be a programmer. So I took like some courses, online courses about programming. But I thought to myself that maybe this is not what I want to do, because if I wanted to be a programmer, then I would maybe need like a 12 years to become a good one, right? But I was, finally I did not do that, and then I was starting as as a business person. I can imagine like maybe from other people also who wants to start something, right? The always the challenge is like, where should I start? I mean, then then a lot of people, maybe they have their own, their own path or their own way to do it, But it's always like, for me also, it's like, wow, how do I start, But I was just curious, and then what is all about, And then I was just learning from programmers, and I took online classes, And but I did not really learn a lot, because I know that it was not for me.
It was not the thing that you wanted to do, right? But that is a very interesting thing that you said, because you said a lot of people, when they want to do something, especially in terms of a digital based business, we always think of the tech that we don't know.
Yeah.
And we always have this fear that there's this tech thing, the tech part, which I need to conquer before I get to the part where it's the business.
Yes,
How did you overcome that? Because after that, you started, right?
I was talking to a lot of tech people, right? Just to get the sense of what is all the tech about and everything, because tech is very, very large. A lot of things that it's going on inside there. I talked to them and everything, and I asked them about how to build a product and everything. I hired the bad programmers. It happened to me also, I've done everything. And then, but then I know that going forward is like I know that we have to optimize what we know, right? And then for me, it's like I would not be able to to do programming, and then I decided that, okay, I'm just going to focus on the business. But again, on the business, the non-tech part is also a very big thing. I had to choose what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to focus on marketing or whether I wanted to focus on sales. Maybe if we are interested into marketing, okay, just focus on marketing. And then let other people do, for example, for the financial, for example, or do the, or we try to go or come up or find a partner who is good in sales. What is ideal is to try to find, like in a team, try to find like people who has a complementary with what we have. That is very, very ideal. But sometimes it might not happen.
And in your case, did it happen? Did you find a partner that complemented you in terms of what you have and what you want to do versus what you didn't want to do?
Yes, right now I have a tech partner who is very good. I mean, I let him do everything tech. Okay, because I know that I don't code, or I'm not programmer, so I let him do all the everything tech. And I have also a partner who is my husband, who helped me with strategy and finance. All the financial projection and all the business model and everything. I'm still doing a little bit of marketing and also the content development. Because that's what I'm very good at. So that's why I told myself that, okay, I have to maximize what I have. So for me, it's like I'm strong in content creation. So that's why I'm just going to handle the content development. And what I don't have right now is a good salesperson. That's what I'm still looking for.
So now that you've been in that tech space for a while, what are some of probably the myths of the industry that you may want to debunk?
Maybe let's talk about the competition, maybe. Because first, when I was at first, competition is always scares me. And it was like, whenever I saw like another startup doing the same thing as me, I was like, wow, competition, a competitor. And after that, I was just learning that actually competition is good. Because competition is good, because there is if we're there is also one myth that you have to you have to be the only person or the only company who sells that product, right? But actually that's not I don't think it's correct, because if we are the only one selling or doing the service that we want to offer, then nobody else does it, so we don't know whether maybe the market would not be ready for what we are selling. So the competition is going to help us also, to navigate all the market, because then the competitors, they will also do research and everything, right? Then we can learn from their research or from their experiments. So for me, right now, is competition is a good thing, actually. Maybe you've heard that some people say that you have to have a very good product, a very unique product in the startups. Actually, it's not true. Or a good idea. That is what is more. That is what most important thing. Because if you have a very good idea, but the idea doesn't make money, then or maybe you're not capable to generate profit. Yeah, that is your good idea is not going to last. Yeah, but what is important is that we have to carry on the business, and also profitability also has to be on the scene, because that leads to the third myth, maybe. Some people, that when we do startups, it doesn't matter what we do, but when in the startup scene, usually maybe you've heard also that people say that no need to be profitable as long as you're doing the business, but that's not true right now. Maybe it was before. I mean, in the early years of startups, where well, the between the players, the startups founders, and also the investors, they still trying to navigate and everything, right? And then a lot of companies that up till right now, they would not make money, or they would not they're not profitable. They're still there, and then they're still getting funding or raising funding. But right now, the era has changed. So at the end of the day, startup business is business. So we have to be profitable. Ideally,
from the moment you start, right? Ideally,
yeah.
And talking about that, because I know that when we got on the pre-interview call, we talked a lot about the startup world. We talked a lot about things like mistakes and failures. Do you have any particular failure or mistake that you may want to highlight to share with people, so that they have a realistic idea when they go into building their business, especially in the digital age?
I think I already mentioned just earlier, going to both markets at the same time. That was also one of the mistakes that I did, because like I said just earlier, because I thought I knew both market at the same time, and then I decided to launch in the both markets at the same time. That was one of the mistakes that I did. We have to focus even on the market, even on the product, even on the one thing that we have to be very specific, and that is good, because then it's going to help us move forward. And also when it comes to the product development, also I think I did not do my MVP or the first product properly. So I was waiting until very late before I launched. When we jump into startups, usually what we have to we have to launch with at least like some kind of prototype of
at least something that works, right? Yeah, at least something that
correct.
works. So
yeah, usually it could be like a prototype.
For people who are not in the tech world, I just wanted to just briefly go back to say, you say MVP, so minimum viable product.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, and then I did not do it properly, because I waited too long, because I did not know whether we should launch or not. And then when I launched, it was a little bit too late, because I should have launched earlier, and then do all the experiments, like refining the products and everything, and then until we know how the market is going to perceive us, and but I did not do it. That's also one thing that sometimes being too cautious because I was very afraid to fail, or I was too afraid.
But what were you waiting
So talking
for?
about fear.
Is it really fear, or were you waiting for the perfect product, or like you wanted?
Yes, I wanted to do that. I wanted to because it was a marketplace. My first product was a marketplace, so it took me like a long time to build the marketplace, and then I did not do it like I said. Normally we had to do like a MVP first, or like some kind of prototype, and then we refine or we improve. But I waited until like the whole product was ready, and then I launched. But even during the time that we launched, actually there were still a lot of bugs and everything. And every time I got bugs, I just realized that the user reported me that we got bugs. I was so scared. I was so I panicked.
But now it's nothing to be panicky about.
And we got feedback from the customer saying that, oh, there's a problem, there is a bug in your platform. And then I would say that I'm so sorry for the glitch. I don't panic anymore, just like before. And then we prepare like a sort of a communication, to tell them that, oh, we take this thing seriously, and stuff like that. But internally, I don't panic anymore.
So that's a good thing. You learned from that first startup until now that you know that there is a process to improving your product. But how long? Okay, so now back to the marketplace product that you had. How long was it that you developed that product before you launched it to the market?
Oh, it was. It took me 1 year, almost 2 years. So it was too late actually, because usually in startups, theoretically in startups, maybe also the listeners also, if you guys know that from the books and everything, usually we should put only maximum 6 months, to create the prototype, which is very, very hard. Unless your programmer would work 24 hours a day around the clock. Launching after 6 months is it's kind of difficult, but do not take too long either. So almost 2 years before I finally launched, and it was too late. It was too late. And it did not include also some of the times when I hired the bad programmers. So it's also like I maybe I wasted like several months also before that, until I found the development team like that. And so it's not that easy.
Yeah, but how do you find that? Okay, I know you say you went through some bad developers, programmers, and now how do you come to that good place where you already have a good team in place, or how do you get those people helping you?
I think I was just lucky, It's I know this guy that my current partner, a tech partner. Actually, I found him through a friend. I did not really expect, because but then after we discussed a little bit, and then and then we discussed not a little bit, we discussed profoundly and everything. He understood exactly what I wanted, and then he started to work, and then it was just okay. I mean, it was just a nice, and then it's like the way I want it. So and then we worked very closely, and then I think also it's a good thing that if we can collaborate with our partners in a good way, that is also accelerating also what we want to do. So currently, hopefully, there is no drama right now.
So is he based in Singapore or Jakarta?
No, he is based in Bandung. I haven't met him. I never met him before. I never met him, even though that we have a weekly call. Every week we have a weekly call like this. We hired also through him. Actually, we started to develop our own team right now, and everybody's in Bandung actually.
So you've got your development team in Bandung, and you're based in Singapore. So
yes.
That's really the digital world, right?
And also, I used to have also a marketing girl who is right now, she's Indonesian, but who is right now studying in France. Yes. And also I have her. I had her like several. I don't remember because actually she's doing by project to help me with content and marketing and everything.
Oh, so this is quite how should I say, a remote team.
Yes,
It is a remote
yes.
team.
Most of the time, actually, I use the Indonesian talent.
And you also, because your product is also meant for the Indonesian market, right?
I think for the content, yes. For the content, usually I would just hire some helps from Indonesia because of the language, but for the tech it's yes, because also for the budgets, budget wise.
So you mentioned that you started this present business of yours in January 2021.
Yes, correct.
How has the marketing been for you?
Yes, correct. So far, I would say we always say Alhamdulillah. It's like we're being grateful for that. So so for marketing, since our first launch, actually we have gathered 10,000 of users.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I was actually first time I launched. Actually, I was so scared. Again, I'm always scared about everything. So I was so scared. I was like, also my question to myself was like, who's going to use my product? So we did the marketing. The first one was to actually to gather to have the signups. For us, it was important to get the signups, and then I give them free online trainings. That's why we were able to secure 10,000, several hundred users right now. Yeah, and those are Indonesian. Everybody's in Indonesia, with the age of 21 to 26 years old. Yeah. So the demographic wise is most of them is still staying in Jakarta, in Java Island.
And the key thing about your courses that you offer to your fellow Indonesians, they are geared towards helping them get better at their careers, right? If I look at it that way, it's like getting them ready to workforce, getting them career ready.
Yes. Exactly. So that's why the most of my audience are there in the last year of the university and also in the early years of their career.
And what is in the future for your product?
For us is to get more classes. That's very 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 important, because right now I'm offering the classes, and then the app actually is going to help them to strategize what they wanted to learn. For example, like the users, they wanted to improve on specific skills, or if they wanted to have like a specific target in their career, and then our app actually is to give the recommendations of the classes of the skills that they need to improve. That's why we have to have a lot of product offerings. I mean, the classes, we identified like a plus 120 plus skills. That's why we need to cover all these skills in the form of micro learnings. We're focusing on micro learnings, and also we wanted to launch also the workshop to perfect the skills in the form of a skill drill. So we have to drill their skill. So for us is to our next step is also to generate or to produce as many classes as we have, to cover all the soft skills that we have on our platform, and also to attract the users to use our app, because that way they can strategize.
So can I say that it could be something like, just say this specific person wants to end up working in a magazine, for instance.
Yeah.
So they have to think, what are the skills that are needed to work in that company, and then based on that, your app will suggest or recommend specific courses or mini learnings for them to in order to get there, right? So when you say mini learning, how long is your course, or how long is your learning? that they have to?
Yes, so we have the micro learning of between 30 minutes to 45 minutes of duration. So not more than 1 hour because it's online. So it's supposed to be micro also. So so we only cover the basics of that. So it's a self-paced online classes. So it depends on the person's how long they wanted to finish. But the total duration will be around 30 minutes to 45 minutes. We also have more smaller classes, which is free. But it's still called micro classes. Also, it's between 15 minutes to 20 minutes.
So in your case, you probably would have to work with a lot of content collaboration.
Oh yes. That I'm my next move will be like developing our team of the course development, and then I want to hire the people who would be interested to to develop the classes with me, and also working with like institutions who are already specialized in the specific topics, specific skills.
So now that we talked about your business, we talked about all the startup experiences you have had, let's talk about Nino growing up in Indonesia.
I had a pretty easy childhood
Upbringing.
and also teenage upbringing. So I stayed with my parents until end of my university day. So when I graduated, actually I moved to Jakarta. And then my parents, of course, they were very worried because I was like the first of the family who left the home to go to the capital, and the capital is like a very big city. So, and I was all alone, and they were worried, but I was not worried at all. I was just more excited, to discover a new place, a new life. And then my first job was in Jakarta. So I was just more excited than worried. And then 1.5 years after that first job, actually I got a scholarship to pursue my studies in France. And then I was more excited.
But what were you studying?
Sorry?
What were you studying in France?
I took a master degree in communication. Yes, and then I got accepted in a small in a university in a small city it's called Nancy. It's in the eastern of France. We had to do the courses in class for 6 months, and then the next 6 months, we were supposed to do the internship. I moved to Paris for the internship. So I had a very interesting internship actually. My first internship was in a museum. It's a Georges Pompidou Museum. It's called Pompidou Museum. Okay, it's called Centre Pompidou. It's a contemporary art museum. I was so happy to work, even though that it was only for 4 months. I think it was not paid, but I was so happy because I'm very I'm very interested into culture and art and everything. And as an intern in a museum, I had a free pass to visit all the museums in France for free. So I was Louvre, the museum, the biggest museum in Paris, Louvre. I just go in, almost very regularly because I love it so much. And then I never paid. That was one of the perks that I really liked. And then, but the internship only lasted for several months. And then I wanted to do another internship because it was not compulsory, because the compulsory internship was only one program. But I wanted to do another one because I got accepted in UNESCO. That is also another, it's very different topic. It's very different environment. And then I ended up getting a job in a UNESCO for another year after that.
Did you have to speak French?
In UNESCO, no, because UNESCO it's an international institution. So actually, people would speak English and everything. Although that speaking French was it could help, but But in Georges Pompidou, yes, it's everything was in French.
Would that qualify as the craziest thing you've ever done in your life, or not?
Oh, I never did anything crazy. I'm just like I'm a spontaneous person, but not that crazy. I know my limit.
You have such a colorful life, I must say. I mean, now that you're talking about it, from Jakarta to France, and then now you're relocated to Singapore, and because of all these life experiences, and now you're doing something completely different from what you were doing before.
For me, it's like it's a life about choices, right? And then it's if we can choose the one that we like and we enjoy. Because then also this one also I just came up to this. I just read these these articles and books about the ikigai. I just realized that everybody has been talking about it, and then I just realized that maybe like several years ago, and I said that so I maybe this is my ikigai. When you can find your happiness for what you're doing. When you wake up in the morning and then you feel the day will feel of joy, because you love what you do. I think I found my ikigai.
And I think for people who have found it, I think it's really one of the greatest pleasures, because it sounds very cliche, right? That you never have to work a day in your life, but it is true.
And also, what is what is very important also is like to be grateful for what we have. That's also something that I always tell myself, that it's kind of a bit cliche also, but it works actually. Just be happy, be grateful. So simple, right? And then a bit cliche, but I try to say that, because otherwise I'm just gonna be being so stressful and I panic whenever things doesn't go my way.
And since we're talking about women and entrepreneurship, what do you think women entrepreneurs should talk about but don't talk about enough?
Maybe I would say women's emancipation in the in business, because I know that I don't know if it is relate to what you're asking, because I feel like a woman. I mean, everybody must have the the same opportunity, right? Also in business, but that's true that sometimes even in business, it's sometimes it's so male dominated. Even for example, in a business where involves women, for example, like cosmetic products or fashion or everything, it's still male dominated. Also in the startup world, also it's like woman co-founders is also they're very encouraged, because it's so male dominated. So we need to have the balance also between women. So for me, it's like woman needs to be empowered. I mean, not needs to be empowered because they're empowering enough. But we should help each other. We should support each other.
As someone who is in the tech space, as a woman founder in the tech space, how do you feel when you get into a room and there's everyone else is male and you're the only female? Probably you're one of a handful of females in the room. Is there such? Do you have any do you feel different?
At first, yes, but right now I'm very used to it right now. But when I started, yes, I feel like why so men so everywhere, and very very we don't see that many women in the room. For example, I was feeling very awkward, maybe a little bit have less self-confidence. That happened to me when I started, but right now I feel like it's just same. It's just maybe I'm used to it. But that's
and you've been in it for a long time.
That's right. And also maybe well, actually I have two handicaps. Let me tell you, because when it comes to startup world, everybody's also young.
Oh, okay. So I forgot that part.
Yeah, I don't care anymore, because then every time it's it's in our head, right? Everything is on our head. Back then, I was just also thinking that I'm I'm the only woman. I'm also the oldest one, you know. But right now it's I don't care anymore. I mean, it's like, you know, it's if we are feeling young in the head, what is important is not our appearance, but it's also what we do, and then how we if we have a mission in our life, that's what we have to carry on. Yeah, yeah, but that's true. It's like, wow, the auntie of the startup.
That could be positive branding for you.
Yes, because then age doesn't matter in the end. I wanted to let also fellow women out there, you know, that do not be discouraged because of the age.
I believe that being in the digital space sometimes can be a good equalizer. A
Yes.
lot of things, you know, women probably wouldn't have tried to attempt in the past. Now they can because
Yes.
of digital. And which I think is such a great thing that we're living in the digital world these days.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. It's everything actually is much easier. Yeah, much more easier, you know, because we can learn anything anywhere on the internet. You know, even I read books. I read electronic digital books right now. Yeah, you know, so it's easy, very accessible, and also easy to read. You know, we can carry everywhere and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot of accessibilities everywhere. Yeah. So we have to make the most of it.
So through your story, through another woman's story, we get to learn and we get to see through your eyes what it's like to be a tech founder, what it's like to do different things in life. And so before we get to the end of the podcast, the end of the interview, I just want to ask you, what's your final key takeaway for the person who's listening to our conversation today? What do you want that person to, you know, think about or, you know, have something to reflect on?
Don't be afraid to do new things, and also, but do it. You know, do it in a strategic way. Of course, we don't do anything because we wanted to do something without any strategy. But we have to. Yeah, if you do things strategically, you're gonna have a lot of fun, and you will enjoy every moment. And also, do not be afraid, because everything actually is in our head. So whenever you think that you have a fear, just you know, like, put it, if it's only something that we create in our head, or is it really something that we should be fear of. Yeah.
And finally, where can people find you online if they want to connect with you, Nino?
Okay, I am on LinkedIn. So my name is Nino Mouton. I am on Instagram also, and also my website is called Playbook.plus.
Book.plus. Okay.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Nino, for a very interesting, I would say a good look at your life before you started your business and also presently. And I think part of the interesting part is that you found your ikigai, which is such a wonderful thing to know.
Thank you so much, Krista, for having me here. I hope you know, this conversation can help, like,
can help
our
someone
fellow
out there
women.
who's thinking of starting something in the tech space, who's thinking of, you know, trying out something, but maybe they're waiting too long. They're waiting too long to launch their MVP. If anybody wants to really get deep into the trenches about the startup world and all the nitty gritty, just reach out to Nino, and I'm sure she'll be able to help you with your journey if you want to be a tech startup founder, or even try to figure out, you know, what are the things moving forward, right? Because you've had experience in that space. So thank you again, Nino, for spending time with us and talking about your life and your business, and of course the things that you're doing right now. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, Krista. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Nino has shown you that you don't have to be a programmer or learn how to code in order to start a tech business. What I liked about her is that she knows what she's great at and works on that area while she leaves the rest of the areas she's not strong at to the rest of the team. I also love that she's not afraid to be the oldest female individual in a room of startup founders. More power to you, Nino. If you're a returning listener and you like this podcast, do tell a friend about it. If you're a new listener and just found my podcast, please also tell a friend about this. I hope you found my podcast useful in helping you understand the different types of businesses run by everyday smart women in Asia. Can you believe it that we are at episode 9 of season 5? Another 4 more episodes and the season is done. I'm already prepping for season 6, and that's happening in March next year. I would appreciate it if you could tell a friend about my podcast and help my podcast go far and wide. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next Friday.